the ID Club Saturday morning coffee show, and Jack Mitchell for the first time of many episodes all summer long. This one is completely free. And so if you are joining us live here on the ID Club YouTube page or after the fact, welcome. We do this each and every week. This has become, Jack, our kind of tentpole show since we started the club almost 3 years ago now, and we decided to try something different this summer and remove the paywall. So we'll be doing that all summer long.
Yeah, so if you're listening on the podcast, you could join us live 9:30 on Saturdays this summer. We'll see what we're going to do for the fall, but I think there's a good chance we're going to continue that in the fall. We think it's a great way to start out the day. I do radio in the morning anyway, so it's natural for me to get on the mic in the morning as opposed to 7 o'clock at night or 8 o'clock at night. But great to do it. Things people need to know. Since we are open to the public now for this, we do interact with commenters from the club, those who are paying club members. It's one of the perks that they get. You can get it too if you want to. So that's via our Discord. And if you do jump on our Discord, go to the live show chat for any show that we do. And that's where we keep an eye on what's happening in the chat. You'll hear us refer to that throughout the course of the show. Of course, if you want to do that, become a member, patreon.com/I80 Club. That said, now, Josh, that we are public, we could also accept super chats on
We
YouTube.
can.
So if you don't want to become a member, why? But if you don't want to become a member, but you do have something, a message you really want to get out, we will take your super chats during the show, like we did during some of the basketball season. So that's now a thing once again. So
yes, exactly. This is the start of the ID Club Summer Tour. We have a ton of stuff going on over the next few months that we would love to have you participate in, including the Growing Kick Chronicles, which we've been teasing for subscribers and non-subscribers alike. That'll start within a few weeks as we have gotten a lot of recording done last weekend and beyond. So we hope to see you there. We're going to have guests. People have been asking for us to have guests for years now, and finally, some people that folks have been wanting and hoping for, Jack. We've got one locked down in terms of a date. We have another who's a yes. We have another who's a tentative yes. So we're feeling pretty good on the guest front this summer as well.
We got guests. We did our draft. If you haven't heard our draft yet, you can go watch the YouTube or the podcast of that if you're a member, right? Yeah. Does that ever go public or not? I forgot.
Right now, that one's paywalled.
That's just paywalled. All right.
That one's paywalled.
Right. You can hear my reasoning for the picks that won me the draft. You picked the wrong Notre Dame game. It is insane. It's amazing that's the story of. That's like I don't know. That's like a guy wins a marathon, Josh. Right?
Yeah. Oh, tell me more.
The greatest marathoners in the world get together in a 4-way marathon, and one wins it somewhat close to number 2 and then just blows away number 3 and 4, but takes a gel he shouldn't have in the last mile, right?
I wouldn't say
or something like that. And somehow that's the conversation is like, whoa, I can't believe he took that last gel, and slowed his time down. Could have beat everyone by even more instead of just talking about the greatness of the winner of the 4-way marathon. That's odd to me.
Interesting. I don't know if I would compare it to that. I don't think that would be the comparison. I think it would be like if you were up in a football game and you called a stupid onside kick for some reason, but you still won the game. The story would be, but what's up with the coaching malpractice? Why did he call that onside kick? That
won the game.
Help him. But it allowed for the other team to come back and get closer.
You very clearly,
Notre Dame, Jack, in 2000. That's ball game. You're able to say, look at me. Look at me. Look at what I did. I have the 2000. I have the finest road game in the history of this program. But instead, you took a very boring 2001 Notre Dame game instead. That was a very boring football game, Chad.
It's very clear that you have very little experience following teams that win right now.
Yes, that is true.
Clear, just not knowing how that normal people handle that. So it's fine.
I can confirm that.
I won. Thank you for appreciate the congratulations from everyone that I've gotten over the last few days.
Have you gotten that?
I had a strategy. I executed it.
It's wild that you started out by picking 2024 Colorado, and that actually ended up working.
Yeah,
like it's wild.
That's called strategy and understanding the game. So
my wife says the controversy for me is that the 2022 Iowa game was not a Scott Frost game.
That's
which
all.
D'Lo says absolutely triggered me. So that controversy involves Jack.
One of the runners took an illegal gel. No, I didn't. I mean, I didn't pick that game.
Yeah.
That wasn't my game. That's not on I took the 2021 Northwestern game. Scott Frost was very much there.
Yeah, he certainly was. He certainly was.
But nobody likes to hear about Scott Frost. So
no.
Sorry to mention his name. Apologize.
Definitely not. So yeah, go check out that podcast if you have not had a chance to do that yet. We had a lot of fun, and I think we left it thinking, we should probably do this again in some way, shape, or form. So we'll figure out another bit to do at some point in time, maybe next summer, and we'll
give us another draft to do for me to beat these guys in.
Yeah, well, Jack, one of the things that I've been thinking about is we're getting ready to wind up with the Groin Kick Chronicles would be, what if next year we did the worst, the most heartbreaking Husker losses of all time. But instead of it just being this 10-year period, it would expand to include everything. You can do whatever you want. Yeah, you could do Tom Osborne, Frank Solich.
Go all the way back to like Dana X Bible. Like
Bill Jennings.
Tough loss to like Lincoln High.
Jumbo Steam.
YMCA Omaha.
Oh God, that was brutal.
2-0. Brutal.
Jack, there was somebody who did a groin kick telegram at that time, and it was like, this happens again. Yet another groin kick right here. Let me put a telegram and send it to my friend who lives halfway across the country.
Nice.
So yeah, maybe that's
groin kick telegram.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's get to it, Jack. So we have a variety of topics on the docket today. As over the next few months on this pod in particular, we're going to kind of use it to preview the season, look at position groups, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I know that I kind of threw a few things at you. Where shall we begin on this final Saturday of May with less than 3 months to go until the football season?
Josh, since it's you and me, okay?
Yep.
Since it's the time that it is, since I'm ready to start, I'm getting closer, okay? And one of the rights of the preseason is game time release.
Yeah.
And it allows me to start putting together my color-coded schedule. It allows me to start.
Do you still do that?
Yeah, I have every year.
Isn't that a perk for the subscribers of the IED Club that they get access to this calendar?
I don't know that anybody cares, but I could. Yeah, I think I gave it to people last year.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, they can. I haven't started it this year, but I do about this time every year. And it allows us, Josh, to start, kind of thinking out, planning out. Not only to some degree for our own recreation, but also for our plans with the club and those sorts of things. Start to think those out. And so let's go through what was announced this week in terms of game time and get some reaction from those of you who are watching and from us on that as well. Now, we already knew Cincinnati obviously would be in Kansas City. That's an 8:00 start time.
How are we feeling about this start time, Jack?
And by the way, I realize that's old news, but yes, I referenced this during the draft that we did. I don't know if it's the last time this happened, but one of the times there was an 8:00 start time was that Missouri game in 2009, also on a Thursday night. And that was a incredibly great, fun win. So fun that I drafted it as my favorite remaining game under the Bo Pelini era. And so it's not too hard to get up and get going and talk about the game when that happened. Now, would just a win against Cincinnati be enough to move that kind of a needle for me? It probably should, Josh, at this point. Like at this point, I guess
that's true.
At this point, winning that one, and especially winning it somewhat no drama at the end, is going to be worth saying, okay, that's a big deal. I think it's okay to say that at this point. And so I'm hopeful the adrenaline of that will carry me through pretty easily to the next morning. I stayed up super late the night of the Missouri game. I was very excited. I had so much hate in my heart for Missouri. I don't think I have that for Cincinnati. I'm not going to be like burning effigies of like former Cincinnati, like Gino Guidugli, their former quarterback, right? Or anything like that. So
nice reference.
Look it up. Gino Guidugli. Where I pulled that out of, I have no idea. But
Jack, along those lines, so there was this graphic that was making its way around the college football internet this last week, maybe the week before, and it was wins. It was college football win. But it was Big Ten teams, right? So I thought, looking at the graphic, that this was Big Ten conference wins. and because Nebraska was at 22, and I was like, wow, they've only had 22 conference wins over the last 5 years. But then we realized, wait a second, this is not conference wins, this is wins. Nebraska's had 22 wins combined over the last 5 seasons, going back to the COVID
22 year. Total. Wow.
22 wins. Jack, that's 4 wins.
4 times a year you get
4.4 wins per year. Yeah. So,
wow.
I use that as a way to say maybe you should sell it. Maybe you should stay up all night and rewatch the game.
I think it's celebration worthy if they win that game, frankly, because I don't know. I just don't know what to expect. And frankly, every other time you've walked into a game like that for Nebraska during the groin kick era, it's been terrible.
Do you have your guard up? You have your guard up for this game, don't you?
For sure.
Yeah.
100%. I don't know how anyone could not. And part of the reason is you just don't know exactly enough about Cincinnati unless you've already done a deep study of them at this point or looked at what they had last year. And I'm not ready to talk about Cincinnati and what they're good at and what they're not. Will be as we get closer. But yeah, Josh, I don't know how anyone could go in feeling uber confident about that game, right? But on the other hand, it's an opportunity to you go in, you win that game and kind of take care of business, and it's fairly drama-free. Like that alone feels like beginning something of a new era if you can do that in that game. Right, with all the weirdness about it, with it being on a Thursday, with it being in Kansas City, with it being against a non-conference team that's, kind of had some weird success over the years, right? And you could imagine them coming in and being weirdly good for sure.
Yeah, and there's going to be a weird amount of pressure because the stadium is going to be how much red, how much Husker red will be in that stadium, and so I think Sam McEwen said it on their pod this week that it was like. You get off to a slow start, and Nebraska fans suddenly are sitting on their hands, and they're like, "Oh, what's going on with this game? Why aren't they doing really well?" Immediately, the thing that works for the program, wow, great support. Look at all these people traveling. Immediately can flip when it's like, "Oh, why aren't you scoring more touchdowns?" Against Cincinnati.
You need the first half of Colorado is what you need in that game, right? Which is just something you really need in all these games this year and right now because of the PTSD from the groin kick era. So you absolutely need that. But 8:00, it's going to feel like a big game when it gets here, Josh.
Dude,
I don't care.
That crowd's going to be hammered.
What? Yeah.
That crowd's going to be so drunk.
I don't care. I don't care how big of a favorite Nebraska is. That'll feel like a big game being on that Thursday slot, with a lot of focus on it, being in Arrowhead. There'll be, who knows, all of the Kelsey stuff and the Mahomes stuff that'll be happening around it. It's going to feel big. It's definitely going to feel big when it comes.
Yeah, D'Lo, a loss. What would the next few weeks look like? Horrible, bad. We do not want that. We want a good season in the club.
I don't want to think about it. Yeah.
Lord.
But a win, I think, could and would feel fairly. I don't want to hear anyone say, You guys are that excited because they beat Cincinnati. I will freak out if I hear that, if I'm, touting a win at that point. Because if that's how you look at things, you're just never going to progress out of where you are.
Yeah.
At some point, you've got to admit, you've got to celebrate lower levels of success when you've had zero success over an entire decade.
Hey, we'll get to the other games in just a moment, but here's a topic maybe for later this summer. D'Lo, it's the biggest game of Rule's Nebraska career. Let's put a pin in that one and maybe hit on that at some point in time.
Sam,
column alert.
Kelsey's podcast and Compton's podcast have a feud going on. Is that true? I didn't know that. I don't listen to either of them.
Yeah, same.
Oh, it's kind of interesting. I'm not just curious.
All right, Jack, you can do a little recon into that. So as you mentioned, we already knew that kickoff time. The ones that we learned this week, we learned a few of them. Akron, first home game of the year, 6:30.
First of all, thoughts on that? I wouldn't have put that at night. I would not.
It's September. It's hot, right? Like that's one of the classic
I know.
At night because it's warm outside.
I know, and I don't know that the university didn't necessarily pick this, but if it were me,
you'd want it at
11.
And
this is okay. All of you, you guys, I thought you were weird about worrying about the red sides of the end zones in the back, and I was overly superstitious, or you were overly superstitious. Jack, I'm overly superstitious about
Akron at night.
I feel like
thunderstorm.
Yes, get away from peak thunderstorm times, or if you get them during the day, give yourself some time in the evening. I know that's so stupid. That could happen in any game. I don't care. I would like that Akron game to be an 11 a.m. game.
Yeah. That's pretty funny.
I don't want that.
This is hey, think of the retrospectives though that people will be able to do that week. Can we do an oral history of the 2018?
Honestly,
game?
There'll be so many of those. Ours will get lost.
Who was
in
the
mix.
guy who canceled it? What's that guy's name? Butch
Hug.
Yeah, let's get Butch Hug on the pod and talk to him about how he ruined the Scott
What
Frost
if we
era?
broke down like in detail the wasn't there the kickoff happened, right?
They had a kickoff and it went out of the end zone.
Like, what if we just judged the game on the performance of each individual player during that kickoff?
That would be that'd be a pretty funny
speed, any kind of contact that was made.
Jack, should we do Be Kind Husker Rewind 2018 Akron? Well, hey, don't forget about what's his name saying that Scott Frost was going to be like Urban Meyer was for Florida and Ohio State.
And I will never forget the moment when I thought that there was going to be a game that next Sunday morning.
Sunday, yes.
I was like, this is going to be so cool. Sunday morning football.
My dad wasn't going to be able to go, and so I was going to get his ticket. I was going to get to go to the game on Sunday with my brother, and I was like, seriously, this is awesome.
I know. I was trying to figure out if I could go. Like, all of these things that go on, and things like that were even more novel then. After the pandemic, we did some weird things like that with postponements quite a bit. So it kind of
we got very used to it.
So I got normalized, but that was still 2018. That was still pre-pandemic.
Yes,
so the idea of having a Sunday morning football game was crazy, and then just the emptiness and disappointment. Like, I don't know. I wish they weren't even I don't like that. I have bad memories of that. I have bad memories of that. I don't want to bring back that trauma.
Did they pay Akron? Remember that was the stupid controversy. Did they pay them? Did they pay them? Will they pay them? Oh God. So Akron's at night, and Jack and everybody else is going to be nervous. This is great. The next game, Houston Christian, the most forgettable game on the entire 2025 schedule, is an 11 a.m. Fox Sports 1 game. So I just said, hey, Jack, the Akron game's at night because it's hot. It's not like September 13th is suddenly a whole lot cooler. That one is going to be in the heat of the sun. For those of you who attend, have a lovely time. That sounds absolutely miserable. No, thank you. I do not want to sit in the sun all day and absolutely bake in probably a sleepy 38-20 win by Nebraska, something like that.
38-20?
Yeah, something like that.
Better not be that close.
Better not be that. Then we'll hop on the
I'll tell you
show.
right now, better not. If it's 38-20, I got some concerns. I'll tell
Fire
you
Butler.
Right now.
Fire Butler. What's going on with his defense? They gave up 20 to Houston Christian. Fire Butler.
All right, 11 a.m. That's fine. That's, of course, should be an 11 a.m. game. All we need out of that game, Josh, is to get us available to watch the other games that
I was just going to say, and we should be doing a little cross. Is
LSU football.net TV schedule up yet?
I don't think
that person's getting a little. I understand I've been using this site free of charge for 20 years, but I have some complaints about how quickly it's updated. Right?
Yeah. Oh,
wow. I'd like to send in
oh, man, Jack, I don't even know if it's like the website is working anymore.
Oh, jeez. That's sad.
Yeah,
that's really frustrating for his customers or whoever it is.
I've loved this website. All right, I'm just gonna have to go to ESPN. Yeah, that's not.
Just go to go to Matt Sars. That's a good one, right?
Here you go, Jack. Big games that day. 2:30 USC at Purdue. Hey, Georgia at Tennessee. That's fun. Wow, Georgia Tennessee in week 3.
That is good.
Is that
2:30?
That's a 2:30 game. Yeah, because the night game is Florida at LSU on ABC. Also fun. Texas A&M at Notre Dame on NBC. Jack, how do we feel about that?
I'll go Notre Dame.
Hey, how about this? Minnesota going to Cal at 9:30 that night? What the hell? That's awesome.
I'll take that. What the hell?
Yeah, this is cool. All right, there you go.
All I hear is I just heard you say that in Tim Robinson's voice for some reason.
You did see Friendship, right?
I think I was the first person to see it. Yeah, Johnny and I went like Sunday night at 9:30.
Oh,
there were very few. It was good.
Very funny. Very funny.
But
go ahead.
No,
Week four. This was a game that I know many people were scared was going to get the big noon kickoff treatment. A lot of people pointed out that North Carolina is playing UCF, and it's a game at UCF, and so Fox owns the rights for that, and so that will probably be the big noon game. So we learned that Michigan is at 2:30 on CBS.
Wait, North Carolina at UCF? Did you say?
North Carolina is at UCF in week 4.
I thought that was like week 0 or week 1. I mean,
North Carolina is playing TCU early in the year is what you're thinking of.
I could have swore Scott Frost's first game was going to be against North Carolina.
No,
okay,
it's his fourth game. Yeah, so we didn't learn that is on Big Noon, but that is the assumption from a lot of people that Fox is going to want to build
Frost
Big
Belichick. Frost
Yeah.
Belichick, baby.
Coolest thing of all time, right there from Mike Brown.
We got to get Mike Brown on the pod to talk about that.
That would be a great get.
I'll reach out.
I love the 2:30 CBS, man. I love 2:30 games, especially if I'm not going to them or it sucks up my entire Saturday. But watching them, the music, it'll be Brad Nessler. And we were talking about it yesterday or 2 days ago, Jack. Pretty sure this will be the first time Brad Nessler has called a game in Lincoln since 2009 Kansas State.
I hope it's
2009 Kansas State.
Unseasonably chilly. Or some bad weather or something. I don't know. I went to that Michigan game, the last one they had in Lincoln. It was about 95. It was one of the hottest, miserable games I've ever. It seriously felt like the hottest I've ever been in a game. It was so gross.
Yeah.
Of course, I was sitting way up in the 600 level, and the sun was beating down on me with no shade, and Nebraska was losing by 100. But yeah.
You want me to tell you? I can give you a little tease on where that game ranks in the Chronicles, Jack. I'm looking at the
Michigan blowout loss.
Yep.
Okay.
Do you? I didn't know if you wanted me to.
Yeah. I thought you. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Worse than 40. It's worse. So it's between 40 and 70. It's somewhere in that band. It's a large band.
I'm surprised it's not higher.
Yeah. We'll explain the mathematics behind it all as we get closer to it. So
it probably helped that what's his name, Pants or whatever, had the touchdown run at the end. Who's the guy for Nebraska? Fleeks, Pants, whatever, same thing.
Pants.
I think what I was thinking. I think I somehow was thinking of DeKeel Shorts. I don't know what happened.
The new wide receiver coach. 2:30 CBS, badass game. Homecoming matchup is Michigan State. This is one of those classic. It could be 11, it could be 2:30, or it could be 3 o'clock type situations.
Don't even. You know what? Don't.
Yeah. Why do they do that to us?
Don't even do that. That's stupid. Don't.
Yeah.
Do that.
Remember last year there was one that was like it could be 11, it could be 2:30, it could be 3, or it could be 6:30. It's like so it could be. It could just be any time.
So it's not going to be
any of the times
at 9 in the morning. Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Exactly. And then let's do you want to do Black Friday first, or you want to do Minnesota first? Should we go?
Let's do Minnesota. Let's just keep going in order, right. Because this to me was by far the big news out of this whole thing is Minnesota being on a Friday night.
Yeah, there was a little scuttlebutt going around. I posted it in the Inside Info channel, and again, we would love to have you. First of all, like and subscribe to the ID Club on YouTube if you're hanging out with us for free for the first time ever. Do that. But if you go to patreon.com/ID Club and you sign up for the community tier, you get access to our Discord server, and inside of there, Jack, I think it was on Tuesday, I posted that I was hearing it wasn't going to be the UCLA game on Friday. It was going to be the Minnesota game.
I didn't even see that
Friday.
I could have known this. I didn't know this.
Yeah,
I should join the club.
Yeah, it's a great membership, Jack. We got a lot of cool stuff going on over there. 7 o'clock Friday night, and this is the game that now has triggered everybody for 2025. Some for reasons of it's going to be a short week and I'm nervous. Others, like you, give me my ball on my Saturdays. Yep. I don't like football on Fridays.
This is America.
Exactly. And then I don't know other reasons why. But those are the short week, road game beforehand, blah, 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 blah. I think this is badass. I think that this game is going to be a pressure cooker. I can't wait to watch it on a Friday night. But I love Friday night football games.
It will be a pressure cooker? What's that mean? That's what do you mean by that?
There's going to be a lot of pressure on,
and that's
on Matt
good?
Rule's Huskers. I think it's fun. I think it's fun.
I saw my hat. I saw my hat, Bill Ben, and I don't like. It seems like it's
struggling. It's not 50% in. It's like 60-40.
I don't. But that.
Are you looking at it in the mirror right now? You're making it worse.
I know it's very hard with the reverse.
Yeah,
situation. No, I would like to go to that. Now, the weirdly good thing is that I kind of fixed it.
Yeah, good job.
The weirdly kind of good thing for me is it actually gives me a show off, my next show off because of sports. Probably I've had them constantly over the since I started doing the afternoon show with softball, baseball, etc. I now, assuming Nebraska doesn't get out of this weekend baseball wise, who knows? Maybe they will. But
nice.
I just had yesterday my last day of a show preempted by sports because Husker sports are over. At least that we run. until that day. And
until that day.
And well, no, actually, until Cincinnati game. I apologize. Until the Cincinnati game.
Because what time does pregame start on the network?
So I won't have to do the Thursday afternoon game, like 5 hours before. So I won't have to do the Thursday. But now on that Friday, if I want to go to Minneapolis, I can leave after the morning show.
Oh, are you thinking about it?
Which I couldn't have done. I would have had to leave Friday night or Saturday morning if the game was on Saturday. So now, weirdly, I could actually go to the game, and I have lots of friends. So now you like this. There. I actually do for that reason. So I still am generally against Friday night Big Ten games.
But what do you think about this from my wife and others? Friday games mean you get to give the game your undivided attention and then have all of Saturday to enjoy the rest of the CFB slate.
I like that too. It's just as long as they win. As long as they win, it's fine.
Yes, if they lose, then your Saturday is ruined. But if they win, it's like
it's worse if they lose.
It feels like a bonus win. It feels like a bonus Saturday of happiness.
I'm not furious about my level of rage or whatever is about a 2 out of 10 on this whole thing. It's pretty low, but
yeah, you're not like what Dave Fight mentioned. Others just want to be aggrieved by the perception of the Big Ten screwing NU.
Well, I mean, I think it's fair to be annoyed by. Oh, then maybe. I fit what he's critiquing there. I think it's absolute horse crap that Nebraska continues to be on that list if they don't want to be. And I know they don't want to be for home games. And the other teams in the Big Ten that don't want to, don't have to. How is that not annoying or frustrating or aggrieving? To me, it is.
Well, then I guess I would just say, why doesn't Nebraska do that then? Why don't they whine about it themselves and say, we don't want to do this? If the other schools can't.
I think they have for home games. I guarantee they have. I don't think they care about road games, but they definitely do about home games.
But, Jack, to be fair, they have only had one, and the only reason that last year they had to play the Friday home game was because all of their road opponents had homecoming. And so homecoming games there's like a carve-out for that. Like, they don't want to have home games on Friday, and thus they don't get home games on Friday. Last year was a weird one, you know? Last year was a weird scenario. Listen, also, I thought it was awesome. I thought last year's Friday game was really cool until they lost. But that was a great.
I'm not even saying it wasn't. I'm just saying they don't want it, right? Yeah. I think there should be some level of. I don't think you should have to check their records to have that opportunity to have a choice on that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. And especially if it's about TV, brands.
Then Ohio State Michigan should be playing them, because they're big brands,
right? And Nebraska, while they aren't where they are right now, they're up there in terms of the TV brands for sure. Even if they're not getting this, they don't have the same record as Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan. I don't know. Is there another team in there that won't do them? Is Penn State, Ohio State,
Michigan says we won't play any of them. Ohio State says we won't play them at home because Ohio State has played. It's like one or two. It's not very many. And then Penn State says we also won't play home games, but it's understandable. Oh, and then and look, I don't want to say anything that's going to get me in trouble, but Jack, I don't understand the Iowa excuse of there's this hospital next to us, because then I'm always like, do accidents not happen on Saturdays? Like people still go to the hospital on the weekends. Like I've never understood that complaint about like you can't do a Friday game because of the hospital, but we're okay to do Saturday games.
The chat.
Are you
I'll
triggered?
Just say, I won't put anyone out. Everything almost all of you have said in the last 2 minutes. So annoying.
This is like just a great preview of September in the pod.
So annoying. Unbelievable.
I can't wait. I'm already excited.
All these people. Where are people who act like me? I miss people who act like me.
Well, Jack, Nebraska has 22 wins over the last 5 seasons, so I think
it's not even the one person who usually does it. It's everyone. Jeez.
Nice. So that's what's going on there.
I hate that take. I hate that take so much from a fan base.
The people who are on YouTube right now who are not subscribers at patreon.com/IDClub, do you want to let them in on what's going on inside the Discord server that has you a bit upset?
Oh, there's like 50 people just talking about how Nebraska telling the team that we're all mutually fans of needs to earn the right to have equal treatment in the conference that they're in. Ugh. God, puke everywhere. Everywhere. Go ahead.
Puke everywhere. Let's get to the Black Friday game. I wanted to read this comment from Jordan. It's more horse crap that Iowa gets a night game against Nebraska, but when it's at Nebraska, it's a sleepy 11 a.m. start. To which Big Red Easy says this is more gregarious for thing to me. What do you think about the Iowa game?
I think Nebraska has to earn it. They've got to beat Iowa if they want a game time.
Hey, Josh. I got a theory for you. I have a theory for you here, Jack. Please don't allow yourself to be triggered for the next half hour.
Triggered. Triggered.
There's a part of me that wonders if Nebraska actually said, "Can we just have it at 11?" Because there are now 2 time slots. For those of you who don't know, there are 2 time slots on Black Friday for Big Ten teams. There is the 11 a.m. CBS slot, and there's the 6:30 or 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, whatever it is, NBC spot. That is new. That happened starting last year, whereas in previous years, remember, Nebraska played on BTN at like 2 o'clock or 3:30 or whatever for many, many years. But now there are 2 spots, 11, 6:30. I think that nice, Biff. I think, Jack, tinfoil hat, I think Nebraska said we would actually rather do it at 11 a.m. So if you want to be mad about the kickoff time, I'd be mad at Nebraska. That's just my guess. That's just a theory that I have. Just a theory I have. Your thoughts?
I think volleyball also played into it if Nebraska has a choice.
Yes.
They play Penn State. That's the biggest,
and that'll be a night game
of the year. And now that'll be a night game. Otherwise, that has to be that would have to have been, if they did a night game, that would have had to been an afternoon game because they're not going to do both. They're both home games, so they would have done both of those simultaneously, obviously. So
Sam says, I think we should just move the Black Friday game. Let's get people really cooking. Yeah, you want to make everybody really mad? Say, let's go to Saturdays.
Nebraska doesn't. If Nebraska doesn't win, they don't get. They shouldn't have the opportunity to play games. Stop it! I mean, they should have to play on Wednesday morning until they win their way into the weekend.
This is
right. Separately and like a dunce cap on a weekday morning, and then the
rest of the pod
they can win. Our team that we love can then win their way into playing at times they want. Right. So yeah, that'll be fun. But it's good that we're aware of their foibles and their lack of standing in the Big Ten, and we can make sure the world knows it. So dumb.
How do you feel about the 11 a.m.?
All right, the 11 a.m. Iowa kick.
Yeah, are you triggered by it?
I think I prefer it. No, I'm not triggered by it.
Yeah,
I'm
a little surprised at how upset people are that it's not at night. Because remember last year when it
was at night, everyone was like, "That's going to be freezing cold." Exactly. Basically, everybody thought about the weather.
Yeah, exactly. And so I don't think that this is like a fairness thing that the Big Ten gave it to Iowa at night and then Nebraska has to play them in the daytime. Like I don't. Yeah,
I kind of feel like the tradition sort of is more during the morning, even like 11 a.m. Like Michigan, Ohio State on Saturday is 11 a.m.
It's 11 a.m. Yeah,
feels right for a game on that day because Friday's like a holiday. I don't know. Like I don't have any problem with that being 11 a.m. It feels right and normal. Night feels weird. I don't mind. It was listen, the night was such a terrible experience last year too, and then I had to do the post game.
You did a post game show. So. Yeah, 11 a.m. is good for you and me, and if we're gonna do a Friday night post game pod after the game, which I imagine we'll want to.
Yeah,
so
no, I'm surprised. I'm surprised people are mad about that. Like, and I'm a pro night games person.
Again, I think it comes back to the idea of fairness. That why did Iowa get a night game and now Nebraska doesn't get a night game? It's not even about how cold or not cold it's going to be. It's just they've got a night game. We want a night game. Right, so I think that's
those people generally sound like they're doing the right thing by fighting for their own program. I appreciate that.
Nice. Jordan says
because a lot of people won't do that even.
I'm just trying to blow through this comment. Jordan says it should always be 2:30 or 3 for Black Friday. Start in the light, end in the dark.
I don't mind that either. I like that too. Yeah. I like both of those.
Well, hey, one of the games that got picked the other day by John was the 2008 Colorado game. That is one of those 2:30 starts in the daytime, finishes at night.
Yep,
I do love those games. Though it does seem like, Jack, now that there's the Black Friday NFL Amazon game, which I think kicks off at 2. I think that the Big Ten is trying to avoid that, right? You get a game early and then you get a game night, and so you don't have to deal with it.
Honestly, I know we have some volleyball fans and some non-volleyball fans in here, but that volleyball game that night could be – I mean, there's a world where that's the biggest event happening that day by far, right? Yes. Not in terms of people that are attending, but in terms of place in the sport, for sure. Mm-hmm. For sure. It could be the biggest volleyball match of the entire year. Between any two teams. Yeah. And it'll be wild. So, yeah.
And did you know that the Black Friday – okay, so 2 things for you, Jack. The Black Friday night game for the Big Ten, do you know what it is?
The Black Friday night game for the Big Ten? This is the one that was like Michigan State, Penn – that
was 2 years ago.
2 years ago. Oh, the one that beat Nebraska, Iowa.
Yeah, do you know what it is?
No, I don't. Somewhere in the West Coast, probably.
Indiana at Purdue.
Oh, I did see that was on Friday. I can't.
How bad
I
is
wonder
that?
what their fans think of that. I mean, there's so many rivalries. You kind of get a spot for that rivalry, I guess. And now Indiana is good and interesting, and so I think it's at Purdue this year. I believe. I feel like it was at Indiana last year.
Maybe yes, not. It is at Purdue this year. And remember, the score of the game last year was something like 63-7.
I mean, honestly, Josh, it could be a lot worse. That's not bad at all, in my opinion.
Really? Well, I'm barely going to watch. You know why? Because that night has Texas A&M at Texas on ABC. Like,
it's got that
and you and I doing a show.
And probably other games and the volleyball game, all of those things.
But holy God. What time are we going to do the pod that night with volleyball? Let's say volleyball starts at 7. Because there's also probably going to be a post-game show for Volleyball State that night. Crap, maybe we do afternoon. Maybe we do late afternoon.
Yeah, maybe lead up to people will want to watch that volleyball game, so we'll probably need to get it done before that. So.
All right, cool.
But I don't. In theory, that's kind of
plenty of time to play.
I don't know. It depends how annoying Signetti and Indiana are by that point, right? And coming into
you think Indiana's going to really trigger you like the chat has today throughout the 2025 football season?
Yeah, most likely, yes. Well, no, I don't think you will because I think they're going to take a step back and it's going to be wonderful.
Yeah, dude. Do you know what their win total is?
Probably 9.5.
It's like 8.5, which I couldn't believe when I saw that. I was very.
People think he's invincible. They think he's the greatest.
He's pretty good
coach ever.
Jack, imagine here's a fun thought exercise. Imagine if Signetti was Nebraska's coach, and in his first year as coach, Nebraska started off 10-0 and made the playoff. Can you imagine how you would be treating that man?
I cannot.
You would be calling him the greatest coach of all time.
But
because he's in Indiana, you're like, yeah, he's kind of mid.
Why do we have to go back and reconstruct with this podcast what being a fan is?
That could be Jack. What if that's our summer project for next year? What if next year we discuss fandom?
Are you telling me
we do a narrative series on fandom?
Are you telling me that I treat the team I support not with exact consistency as other teams, and sometimes I am more critical and more annoyed with other teams and things that I would be with my own team?
I think so.
Am I taking crazy pills today? What are we doing? Of course, Josh, I would have different feelings if my coach were 10-0 than if a conference rivals coach were 10-0 and was annoying to me. There are plenty of players in various sports, Josh, that I hate, but I would love if they were on my favorite team. We've all had that experience.
Oh, yeah.
We have all had that experience. Yeah, you hate them. They're annoying. You talk trash to them. You can't stand them. But, man, if you get them on your team, oh, boy, you would like them. So I don't know where this fan base needs so much therapy. It's unbelievable. And we're giving them some of it. Thank goodness.
It's Mental Health Awareness Month.
I can tell from the chat today that they are in a place that is even worse than I thought in terms of having the fandom ripped out of their head and those normal, like basically just no heart, no true emotion anymore.
You think our subscribers are heartless?
Yeah, no, not that heartless in terms of mean, but just in terms of they are, it's like, I must prevent pain. I must make sure everyone knows that, our team is not good. And I know what to, it's that kind of, they've set so many emotional walls up around their heart. Maybe that's a better way to say it, like build that wall. They've done that and they need help. And I can see it. And it's sad to see it happening. Like I can see it happening in the chat. And we're going to try and break that down by talking about it, right? I think the best thing you can do, right, when you realize that you've got some emotional issues and you're not quite acting like you want to be or should be, is just to kind of talk it out. So it'll be a form of therapy, and we'll be doing that over the next few months. And hopefully by the time we get to fall, you guys will be back there saying, hey, my team should be treated fairly the same way as other teams are. No matter what
we deserve great kickoff time.
Yeah, I hate Kirk Signetti. Yeah, of course I do. Even though I would like someone to do well at Nebraska in the same situation.
Interesting.
And you quit talking like freaking robot weirdos.
All right, there you go. So that is the schedule that we learned earlier this week and some of the kickoff times. The only thing I think of, Jack, when kickoff times come out now is like, okay, how will this work for my post-game duties on either my radio show or with you? That is now the lens in which I view every kickoff time through of, will this be good for the club that this game kicks off at this time and that this game kicks off at this time?
Definitely will for Iowa. Definitely will for Iowa, for sure.
Absolutely. Yes. The night games, I don't know. We'll figure it out this year.
And honestly,
the day games and earlier
I'll tell you this. If all of these concerns, most of my concern about game times have to do with the potential of how much it sucks if they lose. Right?
How it ruins your day?
Yeah, how much it sucks if they lose. If they win, I don't give a crap when it happens. If they win Friday, you're right, Thursday against Cincinnati leading into that weekend, that'll be freaking awesome.
The best weekend ever.
If they go to Minnesota and win on that Friday, right, that next Saturday will be great, right? So, just win, baby.
Yeah, just win. And don't have, as Jordan says, severe weather. Don't have severe weather.
Don't have severe weather, baby.
For the Akron game.
Yes, that's my concern with that one.
So there you go. Kickoff times for this season, and I imagine we will have many more discussions along those lines. All right, Jack, there was like 5 other things that we had mentioned as potential topics. We have about 20 minutes left in the show this morning. Where shall we go? Where shall we go next? We have I wrote multiple.
Okay, what do you got? What are our choices?
Well, I wrote the column this week about the things I'm excited for, which people are always like, Josh, can you be more negative? You always are so positive about the program, blah, blah, blah.
I'm so excited for the season. I'm Josh.
I just wanted another excuse to write about why I'm excited for Emmett Johnson. I think
I'm going to be the new host of Sports Nightly. I'm Josh, excited. Yay.
You weren't supposed to tell that to anybody. And then I had the report about Memorial Stadium and the construction costs and things that are associated with that. And I don't remember. There was a couple other things as well. Baseball, I guess. The baseball team lost yesterday, and everybody seems upset about that. So, I mean, if you want to talk baseball, yeah.
We can hit that at the end if we want to. Frustrating game. I don't know which thing. Josh, I have more to say. I don't have a ton to add to the stadium stuff.
All right, let's not do that then. Let's do the
when we start talking finances, it feels like work to me.
Well, plus then D'Lo's just going to post a bunch of people falling asleep in the chat saying he's bored as hell, which is what he always does when we say anything that has words like cost or,
I don't disagree with him.
Settlement.
Like, not to say you didn't get a good scoop. You did. A lot of people are interested in it, but
yeah,
I don't know if I am that much.
Okay.
But you know what? That's why I'm glad we've got athletic directors and fundraisers, and we pay people to do the not fun. We're here to do the fun stuff. Go to the games, enjoy the games, talk about
how you wish you had Kurt Signetti,
watch the games. Yes, those sorts of things. So I don't know. Let the people making the money figure it out. Just do a good job. So
okay, so we won't do that. So we'll do the things that I'm excited for.
Yes.
Me getting on my Wii roller coaster.
I agreed. Oh, well, okay, so. I very much agreed, like with 1 through 4, and then and then 5 came negative Josh out, that which you buried in the article to make you sort of faked everyone out, head fake. Oh, here comes positive Josh, and then number 5 is I'm excited for. I don't know what you're excited for on drama or the pressure. As you said, the pressure cooker.
Cooker. It's fun. It's interesting. I'm interested in being interested this year.
I don't want any pressure cooker. The only pressure cooker I want is mine that's making the wings to celebrate the game. What celebratory wings? I don't know.
I don't know what's going on with that sentence.
I don't. I was trying to make a pressure cooker joke, right? Instant Pot jokes.
Nice.
But all of them. So if you didn't see the article, HuskerMax.com. Actually, it's off the front page now because
sad.
Put so much crap up there now these days. But Josh, your points were, and I thought. I kind of predicted I probably could have predicted all of them, but I knew the first one was going to be what it was, and that's Dana Holgorsen. And
he's the obvious number one.
And I think everyone is sort of feels that way, but like, man, it feels like there's an upside there potentially that I don't even want to think about, right?
You don't want to verbalize, right? Because
right,
it sounds
exactly.
ridiculous.
Like, again, go back to before he was coming here, right? When he went to the wrestling match and stuff, you're like,
yes,
he could be Nebraska's offensive coordinator. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like,
that was like
really?
15 months ago.
It's probably just going to be some sort of special consultant for a while. He's going to be a head coach. He's not really going to be the offensive coordinator. And now you got it. But as we've talked about a whole bunch of times, sort of the shine is taken off it, or it's looked at differently because he coached, was it 3 games? 4 games? 4
with the Bull.
USC, Wisconsin,
Iowa.
Iowa, right.
Boston College.
And Boston College.
Yeah.
And the offense looked good in one of those games, okay in one. And
well, Jack, when I did I wanted to have some numbers associated with it. And so when I pull up the averages of those 4 games, they averaged 23.5 points per game. Yeah. Nebraska's offense over the course of the whole season, 23.5 points per game. And so it's really funny because I think we would all agree the offense looked better. And look, the Wisconsin game is doing the brunt of that.
Yes.
Like that game is lifting it up. But I think we felt it the night that you and
the offense looked a lot better in that game. And of course,
way better. Yeah.
The quality of defense factors into that, but it looked better even than Nebraska did against bad defenses during that season, I would say.
Correct. And they moved the ball against USC. They just turned it over. They had some plays against Iowa. They turned it over. They had that horrible drop by Nair, etc. And then, the Boston College game was what it was. So, but all that to say this, Jack, if you and I are potting in early December and Nebraska did finally break through and win 9 games, which some people think is possible, right? Like, just imagine he is going to be a huge reason why. Like, sure. If not the big, it's him and Dylan, but I don't think you can't have one without the other. If Dylan has a big year, Holgerson's going to get a lot of credit. If Holgerson has a big year, Dylan is going to get a lot of credit. Like, they are going to go together. And so I'm with you. I do not think that we can under rank or under talk about how vital he could be to Nebraska's success in 2025. He is that important.
Yeah. And I guess the reason why you're excited about, or why we would be excited about it, is obviously because he is super, super proven in this position. Like, no matter what happens here with him, you're not going to look back at his career and be like, that guy sucks as an offensive coordinator, right? Mm-hmm. Even if he sucks here. So, like, his reputation as an offensive mind, I don't know about as a head coach, but as an offensive mind, it's pretty much books written on that already, right?
Yep.
So, and so there's not like an unknown floor, or there shouldn't be, but sometimes Nebraska is able to build that.
Yeah. I didn't write about it
before.
I didn't put it in there, but you and I and certainly Bishop and I on Sportsline Conduct, we've talked about his red zone numbers. His red zone numbers, man, are the thing that I look at and say, okay, where are the obvious ways that they can improve? He has been really good in the red zone in the past. There was one point in time where they literally scored every single time his offense was in the red zone. Now, that was like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
But, his red zone numbers are usually pretty solid. And I'm guessing now we could lead into point number 2, and that was Emmett Johnson. And we don't need to belabor the point. We have talked about Emmett Johnson probably more than any radio show or podcast that covers Nebraska.
True.
You and I love Emmett Johnson. But Emmett Johnson stats in the first 9 games versus the last 4. It really is night and day. And again, Wisconsin does do a little bit of the heavy lifting, right? Because he has close to 200 total yards in that game. But he has about 100 in the other 3, And so I think that Emmett Johnson could have a real nice 2025.
Yeah. And there's something, and this may be nothing or me trying to create something that doesn't exist, but he and Dylan Raiola are obviously like best friends too, right? And so
it seems like they have something going on.
Like there's something about that too, where it feels like that could be, right? Could only help, I would think, in this whole
fight.
thing.
Emmett Johnson's family doesn't talk about EJ as much as the IED Club. Yeah, seriously. If he breaks through,
if he breaks out, we'll be able to claim that.
Yeah, it'd be like holding Apple stock, when Steve Jobs was in a garage building a computer or something. It'd be like, wow, look at the IED Club. They were in on him so damn
man.
early.
But it's so hard not to say, if you're picking one other than Dylan Raiola, picking one player as will go as they go, the season will go as they go. It's clearly Emmett Johnson.
Jordan says that the only question with Emmett is, can he be the guy for the entire year? Yep. That is absolutely the question. He had about 20 touches per game in the last 4. Is that sustainable for the whole 12-game season?
I have a question for you, Josh. Is part of the reason you're excited, you listed him as a reason to be excited for the season, is that Nebraska doesn't have enough depth to have a lot of choice in how to just screw around with running backs in the way that they have in previous years?
100%.
I wondered that, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. There was a question from Big Red Easy. Only thing I don't remember is he good at catching the ball out of the backfield. And so that is another part that I like about him. And again, you look at the whole season, 39 catches for 286 yards and a couple touchdowns. But when you hone in on the last 4, once Holgerson was in, 23 of his 39 catches came in 4 games. 23 of 39.
That's super interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So that those are the reasons that I'm buying him. But Jack, you just asked a tremendous question. How much of it is the room? A lot of it is the room, which then I think goes back to the previous point of, so can he hold up if he is actually getting 20 touches?
Right. But my point was essentially, sometimes, and again, this goes over multiple coaching staffs, multiple head coaches, multiple offensive coordinator, multiple running back coaches, it feels like. But it seems like it has been so hard for this program to, even give a running back a long enough chance to get in a rhythm ever, that it's just never happened. And it's kind of going to happen by necessity with Emmett Johnson this year. Mm-hmm. There aren't options. There aren't proven options that you're going to be like, well, we got to get them on the field and see if they're going to be the starter, right? Like, again, since who knows when, this is as clear-cut number one starter as you have had since I don't know when, since Ozigbo probably, but maybe even more so than that.
Yeah. And I just posted a screenshot of something I wrote. So in his final 4 games, he carried the ball 59 times for 314 yards. He had 23 catches, 170 yards. If you extrapolate those numbers for a whole year, 20 and a half touches per game, 121 yards per game. That'd be over 1,400 total yards. Do I think that's going to happen? No. But I'm just saying, like, that's what he did. That's what he did for those final 4 games. Shane says, assuming our line can hold up and create holes.
No, it's happening no matter what. Nope, it's happening no matter what.
Nice.
Yeah, of
course. That was my second point.
Well, you didn't list the line as one of your things, but I mean, again, in terms of, going into a season, I would say I feel better than average about the offensive line than I have by a decent amount.
Mm-hmm. I'm thinking of Jack doing a follow-up, things to be worried or question, 5 things to wonder about kind of going into the season. And I would put the line in there, even though I think I am a little more excited about them than a lot of people are,
That's what you said last year. That's what you said all the time last year, too.
But I thought they were fine, right? Like, I thought they were fine. The thing is, can they be better than fine? Yeah, Biff says the line will be good. Put it on the internet. Can they be good? Big Red Easy, based on your column, seems people are pretty confident about the 2-0 line transfers. Definitely. Yeah, number 4, the point number 4 was the transfer portal. And in particular, I mentioned with Elijah Pritchett that I think he surprised some people in how he performed. Jack, do you remember when he showed up? So there was a couple things that were associated with him. One, I think the Pro Football Focus numbers were pretty bad. So like, the nerds, the advanced number nerds, they hopped in and they're like, yeah, he kind of sucked, even though he started a lot. And then he had the off the field issues as well, where he got in a lot of trouble.
Right.
And so I was someone who was like, okay, congrats on getting a guy from Alabama. I'm not going to celebrate this though. That said, it seems like he had a really good spring and people are impressed with his play on the field, but perhaps more importantly, how he is off the field. And so, if that actually happens, and then you throw in Spindler as well. And, I think that there's reason to buy in that the offensive line can be good, not just serviceable, can be good.
Well, and the question has come up, why is there confidence this year? Yes, the transfers, you mentioned that, but even beyond that, they've got sort of a wealth of experience, and they've kind of shed some of the guys that have been problems to some degree as well. But I think Justin Evans has been pretty consistently solid, right? Gatula being thrown into action really young was fairly solid. Had a few issues, but he was fairly am I missing it? Or are there huge critiques of those guys? They're going to be a huge part of this. Lutovsky, probably the same way, right? Not an all Big Ten player, but you're bringing him back. And I mean, and that doesn't even mention, right, the transfers that are going along with this as well. And then you've got depth too, in a way that you probably haven't.
A lot of those guys, a lot of the backups got to get reps in the spring because some of the starters were not available. And Big Red Easy says, let's hope they can get some younger OL in for quality reps. Time to see if Donnie can coach him up. I think this is a put up or shut up year for Raiola as a coach. Like, this is a great opportunity to see, what has he learned? How much better has he gotten? And how much better has his room gotten? Because it's all his. This is his room now, that he's been building up over the last few years.
Look, I mean, I guess if people think Gatula, Evans, Lutovsky are not good, then I guess you're right. You have a good point on the line that it's a huge question mark, or there shouldn't be confidence. But like, they are what they are. We've seen those guys. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
If you thought they sucked, I guess I understand why you're saying that. But,
yeah, for sure.
Like,
for sure.
What? And I get it on Spindler, and I get it having some skepticism about Pritchett, especially. Like, I get that, but I'm not even building everything on those guys. Right? They're in addition to what you've had in terms of proven success already. And you can add more people to that too. I mean, heck, Prohaska's still on the roster. I didn't even mention him, right? You've got Corcoran's still on the roster.
I was going to say Corkboard is still on the roster, yeah.
Right? As well. So, I don't know. I think that would be my explanation, but we'll see.
So that was point number 4, and then just going back in time to point number 3, it was just special teams and the possibility that they're not going to be a tire fire.
This whole thing is like, but Josh makes a case to get excited, and the chat is just like, yeah,
hey, it's fine. That's fine.
Probably shouldn't be that excited.
Yeah, I'm just laying out reasons, right? Like this column was no guarantee of like this is going to be great, this is going to be great, this is going to be great. It's just if you want to find reasons to be excited, these would be the reasons why. Now, when I do my follow-up 5 reasons to doubt Nebraska in 2025. I don't know, workshop it with me for a moment, Jack. I think you can start with Dylan Raiola and just, the numbers last year are so pedestrian and he's not going to be able to take the next step moving forward. The running back, I mean, you could look at the running back room. I don't think I want to write about the running back room again. But
you're right. Like, if you're going to put 5 reasons to doubt, I would have both of those on there. I'll tell you what I probably wouldn't have on the top 5 is the offensive line. But maybe.
Wide receiver room. Would you have the wide receiver room that it's just not, not good enough over there? Or like how much of this, and you notice in the column, like I mentioned some defenders, but there's nothing really in there about the defense. And so Jordan says inexperience on defense. And that's what I was going to say.
That'll be on something about, it depends. Probably the defensive line is probably where I would guess you'll end up on that.
Yes.
The
defensive line.
Replacing
Tony White.
I was going to say,
you're talking about Robinson.
Individuals on the defensive line in terms of Butler, Robinson, Hutmaker. Those guys, like the defense just wouldn't be the same without those guys up front.
That it takes a little bit to get going. Because, I think the theory of defense for Nebraska football the next 2 years is like lumps in 25, you're really good in 26. I think that's the hope. Or lumps in September, you're figuring it out by October and November. Like, I think that's the hope. I find myself very intrigued by the Phil Snow, John Butler, Matt Rule kind of mind space that side of the ball is going to be in and what that looks like. I do find myself liking the edge and linebacker possibilities with some of those young players that we saw get experience and some of the transfers that they had coming in.
If I had written your article, I would have probably had at some point pretty high up there that you didn't have, very specifically McGahee and Shavers.
As reasons to be excited?
Yes, reasons to be excited. Just that the linebacking core is going to be better, more athletic than they've been in years. I think that's possible. So, sure. I am excited about their potential ceiling. And that is one of the things that makes me as excited about the defense as I am. Yeah.
It's going to be interesting because I remember last year, Jack, we would talk about them. And there were some people that were very much ready for the youth movement already. That were like, I can't wait for 25, even though you're going to be losing X, Y, and Z. Well, now it's 2025. And so you're going to get to see what it looks like with some of those young players. I do tend to think that losing Robinson and Hutmaker in particular is going to be really tough, though, because those guys are big. They were men. They were old-ass dudes, and they were really good. And they weren't perfect, but they were really good. And they were able to get into the backfield.
Yeah. I am excited about the linebackers. Definitely. Yeah. I would have that about 2 or 3 at the lowest on my list of things I'm excited about.
Yeah. So,
and that kind of encapsulates a little bit of what you were saying in the transfer thing, because I think you were including like McCullough in that group you were most excited about in terms of the transfers, but along with, Dane Key and the Cal wide receiver and that stuff. So
Hunter,
Isaiah
yes. Hunter,
Isaiah.
Yeah, exactly. So, there you go. Reasons to be excited for Husker football in 2025.
People are going to be pumped for your, at least. So here's what's going to happen. The general Twitter sphere is going to hate your reasons not to be excited.
Correct.
The I-80 chat can't wait. They're like, yeah, yeah, this is my stuff.
I appreciate the I-80 Club. They helped me pay some bills. So thank you very much. Thank you for reading my story. All right, that's the pod for today. If you're new here, we would very much appreciate a like and subscribe to the.
That was some good football. That was some good.
Dude, I know.
We're getting every week's gonna get a little bit more like that.
Yeah, you have like 2 minutes on baseball that you want to do before we say goodbye?
It's just so, man, I didn't see
They play in a half hour, right? They're playing soon against Holy Cross.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It feels like regionals is one of those things, and I got to accept that Arkansas regional because they were really good in that one, but it just feels like it's a buzzsaw as soon as this team gets to regionals. They'll do, no matter what they do in the season, no matter how good the Big Ten tournament or the regular season goes, it's like they get there and the teams that they are playing turn into like baseball versions of NBA Jam teams at the plate. That guy from Oklahoma State eliminated them one year by hitting a ball that still hasn't landed. You know, Jack Caglianone last year, just absolutely, people just have home run derby. It's like a long drive competition against them. And, you know, get behind, don't have enough to come back. It seems like it happens so much in these regionals. So whatever, though, you know, I think they were going to have to go through, they have to win. They just have to win one today. It would be 2 tomorrow. So weirdly, it's like you don't get punished all that much for being in that 2-3 game and losing, to be honest, because they could actually never play, right? Never. Well, no, they would still have to play Oklahoma. They would not. Yeah,
assuming they lose.
Yes. Yeah. So if Oklahoma loses, or they'd play North Carolina tomorrow and then have to beat Oklahoma twice. Or vice versa. So
yeah,
it's a bummer, but they do have a decent amount of guys. They have a huge staff of pitchers, sometimes who can be really good and sometimes who can't. So at least there are a lot of arms that they can use. That was a bummer though. Hopefully they can win big early, get to the back of their bullpen and sleep tonight and have some magic tomorrow. But it's hard to get too excited about that. So.
All right. Wow. Classic negative Jack. Always down in the dumps and never positive about anything. He reminds me of the.
I agree with D'Lo. Get a win today. Give me something to watch tomorrow. That'd be fun to have something at least to watch tomorrow. So make the rest of the games in the regional interesting today too. So yeah, get a win today. Extend the season. That'd be good.
There you go. And that's talking baseball inside the ID Club. We very much appreciate everyone for hanging out with us. If you are new here, we remind you that we have some. Oh, I put it in the wrong spot. We have some really fun stuff coming up over the course of the next few months with the ID Club Summer Tour as we're rocking and rolling, including the Groin Kick Chronicles that we'll be doing, and that will be dropping in mid to late June is when we're planning on starting that. But like we said, every single Saturday morning coffee show this summer will be available for free, and we'll be doing a lot of football talk. It's so nice, Jack. This is great. This is a great time to be.
It's so nice, and it's the time of the year when I start getting triggered again too.
I know.
I haven't gotten triggered about football talk for a long time, Josh. It has been a long time, but you got a little taste today.
Yep. Yeah. Biff says that looks like a concert poster. Wow, it does look like. Jack, have you seen this? Jack, this looks like a concert poster.
I'm not doing this.
It looks like a concert poster. All right.
I'm not doing this.
We are back on Wednesday, and we have no plan right now, but we'll be doing something on I-80 Live. So we hope to see everybody on Wednesday night. That will be a fun episode, whatever we end up doing.
And Josh and I have a big recording session coming up next weekend.
Very exciting. Oh yeah, one more thing. Speaking of the Groin Kick Chronicles, we're gonna have all these episodes available publicly. The regular ones that we're going to do. But one of the things that we're going to do on top of that is bonus episodes. Some of them will involve our subscribers as we take stories of Groin Kick moments in their Husker fandom. Others will be interviews that we do, and others yet will be episodes of Be Kind Husker Rewind. We're going to do 3 losses so we can really just revel in the pain and sadness of some things. So if you want access to every single one of those things, the bonus episodes, and you want it without any ads or whatever, patreon.com/ID Club gets you access to all of it. Plus Volleyball State, they'll probably have something soon as well. Like, we're cooking. We're cooking right now.
It's time to become a member.
All right, Jack. Enjoy the baseball today. Have a great weekend.
I will. Let's get a win. GBR.
He's Jack. I'm Josh. Thanks for joining us today on the Saturday Morning Coffee Show. Goodbye.